Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another video at Happy RC Flyer here on YouTube. Today we have the ProBoat Horizon Harbor 30-inch tugboat. Check it out. This has got a lot of scale features, a lot of scale details, and it's pretty fun. So we have the controller here, just a typical pistol grip. It feels pretty cheap in your hand, doesn't feel like much, but it's got some controls which we'll show you here in just a few minutes. We'll get that out of the way. Inside, let's take a look under the cabin here. This is here where all the important stuff happens. We have, I believe it's a 700 size brushed motor, which I was kind of disappointed to hear that this was a brushed motor and not a brushless. And then we have the 3S battery in there. I'm running on a 3200 today, but I know some guys run them on maybe closer to like a 5000 or 5500 and get a lot of runtime. I haven't run this very much yet, so that's what we're going to do today. And also inside here you'll see that we have the added on, I want to call it a sump, but it's the water pump, and it's for these little fire nozzles, fire hose nozzles, which kick on. So we'll show you that here in a minute. This is how I have my battery mounted currently. This is a 3200 and it fits in there fine. I think if you're going to put a bigger battery, it might not want to sit in there crossways as well. But when I noticed when I put it all against the hull down in here in the side cubby, the boat wanted to lean a little bit. This does come pre-ballast, so you don't have to add any ballast. You can take it right out of the box and put it in the water. But if you put a big battery on that side, keep in mind it will lean a little bit, and you might have to put some counterweights just to take care of that. So it has a nice little on and off power switch here, so you can leave your battery plugged in, kick it on and off when you want. Again, there's a 700 size brushed motor, and it's only air cooled, which sort of seems pointless being that it's in an enclosed hull, so I don't think that design was really thought through, but I haven't run it enough to know if it gets hot or not. I can foresee a brushless upgrade in the future. I don't know if it would need a fan on it or what, but we'll take a look at that in the future. So this is how your pump hooks up. So from the factory, the nozzles are hooked up with this Y connector, and it has this Y adapter here. But this lighter blue hose was added on. You do have to provide that yourself. I believe that this pump system to run the sprayers is like another $57 add-on. I bought this used from a friend, and he had already purchased the pump, and so I just installed it, and you'll get to see it work today. So as to whether that's worth another $60 to have that activated or not, that would be up to you, but you'll get to see it and look at it. But it's really easy to install, but keep in mind you will have to provide your own, I would call this fuel line. If you're used to gasoline or nitro airplanes, that would be just typical fuel line. So you have to add this section from the Y adapter down to the pump, but you just have to add these, it comes with these 2 screws, and you just take these 2 screws and put them in the designated spot on the bracket and secure it down. Just press the hoses on there and you're good to go. So you can buy that kit, provide your own fuel line, and then you're ready to go face some fires. We're going to go ahead and turn our controller on. There's just this little switch here. Again, this is very basic. Feels pretty cheap for the price of this boat. It's pretty cheaply made, but we'll deal with it. And you kick it on. There's obviously no gyro or anything in this, so it doesn't have to be set on a level surface, and it just powers up immediately. It's got some cool scale features to it. These little hooks and the little spools where you could put some chain and some rope, which maybe we'll add to it later. And then of course this is all hollow. It's got transparent windows. They're kind of tinted so you can't see through them, so it's kind of a good mix between having something that you can see through, but at the same time it's not just painted over black, so there's a little mix there. You have a back hatch back here. All these hatches are magnetic. This is how you get to your rudder servo, and looks like we might have a magnet missing. Looks like it's over here actually. Oops, a couple of them came off maybe. They probably need to go down in there. So anyway, this boat hasn't been used that much, so you know, for the money, I don't know. But anyway, that's how that goes in. Then you have one here if you need to adjust the actual mechanics of the rudder servo. It's got dual control rods on it, and that just kind of tucks under there. And again, all this is magnetic. I've heard online some of the forums and some reviews where people have trouble with taking on water. I haven't run it that much to experience that yet. We just ran it here just a few minutes ago to make sure it worked properly. So we'll find that out here pretty soon. The more we run it, we'll find out. On your controller, you have some extra buttons. Of course, you have forward, reverse, you have right and left rudder, just like any boat or vehicle, ground vehicle. And then you have this button here, which is programmed on the controller for the water spouts, which are basically like a little squirt gun. They don't put out a bunch of water. And then this button here controls your lights. And I don't know if you'll be able to see them very much during the daytime, but you have some lights here on the mast, and then you have some navigational lights on either side. I think that's about all the lights that it has. So I think for the price, they could have put some more lights on it, but anyway, it is what it is. It's got these little scale rubbers to protect it, and let's go ahead and set it in the water. Got a nice beautiful day here. You want to try to pick a place that it's not too mossy, doesn't have a bunch of stuff to get caught on, but we will test that in the future. So there it is. Looks like it's floating pretty level. I'm going to add a little throttle, see if we can navigate out around the weeds. Very cool. It's fairly quiet. This is not full throttle, but it picks up some speed, gets some momentum. It's a lot of fun. I'm fairly new to factory built boats. I have messed around, scratch building some airboats out of sort of like the foam for the flight test stuff, and I forget what they call that, but it's like the plastic corrugated cardboard material. I've made some airboats out of those with just a prop and a rudder, and those are pretty simple and easy to build. A lot of fun. One thing about the airboats, they do spoil you because you can run those, if you have it powerful enough, you can run a airboat, custom built airboat. You can run those on the snow or on the land, but when you run in the water, you don't have to worry about any weeds. Any of these types of boats where you have a prop hanging down, you do have to keep in mind that weeds can get caught in it. So I might test that in the future. Let's turn it around here. Let's kick on the sprayers. Oops, that was the lights. There we go. Now you can see them. Now when you're expecting to see sprayers or fire hoses, that's not exactly what comes to mind. That looks more like a little squirt gun, but maybe that's all the better they could come up with. Maybe they need a nice brushless motor on that to really pump out some water. Anyway, it's kind of cool because it does just run on your main battery for your boat. So it's not like you have 5 seconds of activating the pump and then your battery goes dead. So as long as you have power to your boat, you're gonna have power for your sprayers. So, and that's just a toggle on and a toggle off. So very cool. All right, let's show you what full throttle is. It's not a very fast boat. There's full throttle. Makes some little waves, but not too much. It's fairly quiet. Turn back this way. Very cool. So it moves right along. I did bring a speedometer, but I forgot to power it up, so maybe I'll kick that on here in a minute. And we can throw a speedometer in it and see what the speed is. I'll go ahead and turn that on so I can get some GPS signal down here. But this is really fun. I like all things RC, so this is just another aspect of radio controlled vehicles, aircraft, watercraft. It's a lot of fun. It's very maneuverable. I'll show you how sharp it turns to the right. That's all the way to the right. So pretty tight. We'll turn it all the way to the left. I feel like it's pretty symmetric as far as it turns just as much to the right as it does to the left. Some vehicles and different things will turn sharper one direction than the other, but this seems to turn just as well either direction. So very maneuverable. Notice it leans a little bit. Trying to see if that's full throttle. So you don't have to worry about it tipping. Go left. Yeah, so it's full throttle, so it picks up a little speed. The farther, or the longer you have it opened up in a straight line, it picks up a little speed, but it's not a fast boat by any stretch. I'm gonna guess the speed to probably be like 3 miles an hour. They advertise this for being a good retrieval boat. I feel like the greater value of this is more scale feature. If you're into scale boats, this is pretty cool, but Motion RC also has a really good selection. I feel like Motion RC has a lot better selection than Horizon when it comes to watercraft, probably even airplanes too, because I like a lot of the free wing jets, EDF jets. But they have a lot of cool scale boats. If you're into scale boats or wanting to get into scale boats, I'll put a link for Motion RC in the video description as well. I'm unsponsored. I don't make any money from the videos. I don't make any money from any of the manufacturers for recommending or not recommending anything. So I'm not paid to sell anything to you. I make just as much money whether you buy one of these or not. I'm not making this video to try to convince somebody to buy this. This might be a video that if you're thinking about buying one, you could look at it and say, well, that's not really what I thought it would be. That's not a very fast boat, and that's pretty expensive for what it is. Maybe I don't want to buy one. Well, that's also the purpose of these videos too. So I will purchase something that I've been looking at and think is cool, and then share it with you guys on the channel, and then you can decide if you like it or not. But I have fun with a lot of stuff, cheap stuff, expensive stuff, and I just try to share what I'm having fun with. I see a little bit of seaweed or something on the prop in the prop guard. Let me back it up. See if we can shake it. And there we go. Maybe it's going a little faster now. I don't know. It's not a fast boat. Let's see. I think we might have our speedometer ready now. Kick it reverse a little bit so we don't come in too hard. Okay, we have this little, I keep wanting to call it a Magellan, but I think it's a Melane, whatever you pronounce that. I picked this up off of Amazon. It's a bicycle speedometer. It has a built-in GPS receiver, and so it has to get GPS signal, and then you can record the max speed. You just put it in something. It is a lot cheaper. It's like maybe 30 bucks. I'll put a link for it in the description. I purchased this from Amazon, and it's a lot cheaper than the actual ones that they recommend at the hobby shops. So you don't need to pay $80, $90, $100 for just a little GPS speedometer. You know what? We'll just set it right in there. I think we'll be able to see it. That way we'll be able to see it, and it's not going to take on water. Very cool. I don't think it's working because I'm just seeing 0 miles per hour. Let's bring it back. Oh, there it is. It's registering now. Let's give it another try. There's full throttle. I also would like to do a range test on this. I'm not real excited about the Spectrum radio system. I've been using Spectrum for a lot of years, but since I've gotten into more FPV stuff, I've been exploring Radio Master, and I don't intend to get rid of all my Spectrum gear, but I feel like a lot of Spectrum radios are overpriced for what they are. And most people will disagree with that, and that's fine, but it just depends on what you want to do. If you don't like to do any programming at all, and you just want to buy the name brand, have it bind up to your vehicle or aircraft, not have to do any programming, not really have to learn anything about it, then sometimes Spectrum is the better option. But there's other companies like Radio Master, FR Sky, Fly Sky, some of those other protocols, JR, Futaba, that provide some other options. But anyway, I haven't been overly impressed with the distance on the ground controllers, the surface controllers. I think they just came out with one not too long ago here. I think it's the IX SR. I forget what model number it is, and it's like $699, $700. I mean, who wants to pay $700 for a ground vehicle, let alone just a controller? So I hope that works out for them, but I feel like it's highly overpriced. Okay, let's see if we can back it into the harbor. See how steerable it is. It is a little steerable, but it's not as maneuverable in reverse, especially once it gets momentum up. So let's see if I can back it in and maneuver it. Oops. Yeah, it's not very maneuverable in reverse. But anyway, let's see. Here's our speed. The top speed on the Horizon Harbor 30-inch ProBoat is a whopping 2.9 miles an hour. Well, I hope you don't race anybody, but maybe if you're helping a friend that has a speedboat, you can recover his speedboat. There's also an attachment, I forget what it's called, but it's a retrieval system that comes with this boat in the package, and maybe we'll review it another time. But you have a little thumb screw in here in the front, and you have this little hole, and it's basically pipe. You could make your own if you wanted to and put it on any kind of boat, but it's basically a little pipe system that goes through there, and it sits down with kind of like a fork, and you just go out and retrieve your boat. So if you have a boat that flips or gets stuck or the battery goes dead, this is kind of sold to be their retrieval boat. So anyway, there's that feature as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool boat. It's a lot of fun. Is it worth $449? That's to be debated. And you know, is it worth another $60 to have the water sprayers that are pretty much like a Dollar Tree squirt gun in the toy section? I don't know. It is cool when it comes down to scale detail and stuff. Sometimes you can't explain why things are so expensive, but maybe it needs a brushless system and some nice size pipe on there so it can actually shoot out a decent amount of water. Maybe it needs a brushless system on the boat itself so it would be much faster. I did see a video online where a guy puts, I don't remember, it was kind of late at night, and I was kind of looking at different videos, and I want to think it was a Traxxas 775 brushed motor he put in, and really livened this thing up. I mean, it seemed like, from what I saw at a glance, it was doing something else, but what I saw at a glance, it looked like it would really plane up on the water and get up out of the water. And the reality is, most people are not going to buy this because they want a speedboat. There's a lot cheaper boats that are a lot faster, different brands. But this is what this one is, and you get what you get. So anyway, let's drive it out there and see if we can make it look scale. This is a beautiful spot. We need some other boats out here to make it look real nice. At this distance, you can't even hear it, so I think all you hear is an airplane in the background. Get on the throttle a little bit. There's full throttle. It makes a neat little wave, but like I said, it's far from a speedboat. 3 miles an hour is your top speed. That looks kind of cool. There we get some waves. Choppy sea. So this is like glass out here. It's pretty calm. We got the whole, I don't know if you want to call it a large pond or small lake to ourselves. And I've run full throttle, full right, full left on the steering wheel, and I've not brought in any water. So I know some guys complain about bringing on water. Some guys explained that they had water coming inside, so maybe we should open it up and look inside first before we toot our horn about not having water inside. But we don't really have any water on board. So I've heard with conditions that are kind of choppy that you'll get water that goes in these little slots. I forget what these are called, but they're designed to let the water off of the main deck, but actually they take on water. So I've thought about sealing those up. So if you want to run in choppier conditions, you can do so. Let's see if we took on any water inside. It seems really dry. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. The only downfall about hooking up this system, and of course having the lights hooked up, is that you have these and you can't really separate this. You can't take this and set it down and then tip up your boat and look at it. You have to kind of make sure it doesn't flop around. And these I think are like $79 just for this hatch. I don't know if that comes with any of the lights or not. And it seems like extremely expensive. My cameraman was looking at it, and we noticed that these little nozzles are 3D printed, so I'm sure you could probably print some other ones, maybe add some scale details. These are actual rubber, which is sort of cool, and it's neat. I mean, these have little clear lenses on them, but they don't have any LED bulbs. But like I said, I don't want to spill the beans before I get to show you on the video, but I've got a decent amount of modifications planned for this boat. So if you want to see other modifications, be sure and subscribe and catch a future video on this. But yeah, I don't think we have any water. It is really dry in here, so that's really nice. All right, well, there's not a whole lot more to show you. I mean, it's a boat. It goes 3 miles an hour. It has the retrieval system, which is kind of cool, and it's $450 and another $50 for the pump system. That's like a squirt gun. So it is it's fun. It's very scale. It's very enjoyable, but it's not fast. It's very maneuverable, but it has a lot of potential. It's a platform with a lot of potential, I think. So anyway, there it is, and hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully it was a little informative. And I think you can only run up to a 3-cell currently. I didn't see anybody trying a 4-cell battery on it, so probably stay away from that. You might burn it up, and maybe that's the excuse you need to put a brushless system in it. So we'll see you down the road. But anyway, I hope you take the time to subscribe and hit the like button, leave a comment or a question. I don't have all the answers. I don't think there's anybody out there that does. But what I like about the comment section on YouTube is you leave a comment or you leave a question and you might need the answer for, and I probably don't have the answer, but somebody out there does. And there's a lot of different opinions out there. There's all kinds of ideas for modification, and so the comment section is the place to do that. Share ideas, share your opinions, and it's a really cool place. So take the time to subscribe. Most of my viewers for these videos are not subscribed, and so I'm trying to grow the channel to try to grow the hobby and spread the fun of RC. And you can help me by doing that, is hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and drop a comment and a question, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.